Hey, I thought I'd do a little quick overview on Ultimate Double Dragon. Now, I'm not an expert at this game at all, so it's a very difficult game. So you have a punch button, kick button. You have a lot of moves. My problem with this game is how easy it is to just lose your health bar really quickly. I don't know if you could actually finish this without dying. I've had a hard time finishing just the first level without using a credit. It's kind of different from other games. Double Dragon doesn't really have food items, so there's no food items here either, so recovering from a mistake is not really something you can do. You do have bursts, and you have like an EX Tatsu you can do on Wake Up to get some invincibility, but a lot of your defensive options are going to come from cancels. Like he has this combo here. So there's a couple things you can do out of a cancel to give you invincibility. So if I do something like this, like that, that jump kick is invincible. So you have to use that to generally get out of situations. So there's a style switch. This character was just added. And you can do certain things out of it, like he has combo finishers you can do. So everything takes some of your power bar, but if you stance change, you get it back. So like that takes some power bar. This does as well. This is invincible. There's a lot of moves. I can't even really list them all. It's crazy how many there are. I haven't even touched the other character either. This is the only character I know how to use, so I'll show how difficult the game is. I love this track. I did play a little bit of Double Dragon when I was younger, but definitely not my go-to beat-em-ups, that's for sure. That's what I'm talking about there. That's what's frustrating about this game. It's how often they sandwich you. It's definitely better than any other attempts I've done. actually got this running on my my Vita with OpenBOR. There's an OpenBOR port on the Vita, so I took the time to practice before I did this, but I'm still not great at the game. Whoops. I feel like this game is too difficult. It doesn't feel as fun as it should because everything just does so much damage. Missed. Didn't have enough meter. So what's cool is that the Bobo sprite is actually drawn by one of the original Double Dragon pixel artists. The developer of this, basically he pays the pixel artist with donations he gets from Patreon or PayPal, and he makes new sprites for the game. So the next sprite, the next original sprite is going to be Lynda. Very common Double Dragon look. Notice the death sound is from Ninja Warriors. I picked that up right away, obviously. That's a game I played a pretty big chunk of my childhood. Double Dragon, not so much. Never really had anything against Double Dragon, just didn't like them as much as the other beat-em-ups I played. Alright, so I'm inevitably going to lose a credit on the boss. The bosses are quite difficult. Dynamite! Well, got locked in the animation, couldn't cancel as fast as I wanted. These guys are pissing me off. I wish this game wasn't so punishing. It's very fun, it's very well made, but kind of just pisses me off, unfortunately. But a lot of that is because I'm not very good at the game. This guy with the knife is really getting on my nerves. Wish it would spawn literally everything but this guy that just keeps spamming the knife every time I get him in a combo. He keeps coming back too. It's kind of like an IGS beat 'em up where the mooks keep respawning, which is definitely an acquired taste. I'm not always a fan of it in beat 'em ups, but some people like the added challenge. It's always been more of a preference thing. Oh, that wasn't too bad. That was better than I did before. The bosses do like tech out randomly. They can like block strings. It seems like the most consistent way to stagger them is to kind of standard beat 'em up fare where you stand off axes and you kick them right when they go into your axes. That seems to work more consistently. I'm not really a fan of how random it is. Like I said, I'm not an expert on Double Dragon. I do remember that Double Dragon did have a lot of random factors like that, so I think the developer is just trying to stay pretty authentic. I mean, this game is it's pretty awesome. You know, it doesn't really modernize the game too much. They didn't change things too much. The Double Dragon's never really had food items and things like that. It's always been more based around the stun system and other mechanics that aren't really common in other beat 'em ups that came after it. Double Dragon kind of was around for a while, and then after the Super Nintendo one came out, kind of just went on a sharp decline, and not many more came out after that. I remember Super Double Dragon in particular, man, at like 20 FPS. I remember even when I was a kid, I remember renting that game and beating it, like remembering that it felt quite sluggish. Obviously, this is it's an open BOR game, so you can run it at whatever refresh rate your computer and monitor can handle. So that part's not an issue. I did run it on my Vita. I played for probably about an hour and a half of practice before I made this video, which is why that first level run wasn't as bad as it would have been when I started. It actually runs quite nice on there, so if you have a jailbroken Vita, it's pretty easy to set up. I'm not going to go into the details for how to do that because it would take too long, but there is an OpenBOR port on the Vita, so provided that it fits inside the Vita's memory limit, meaning things like Final Fight LNS Ultimate won't fit, you can run it on there, and the frame rate seems to be pretty consistent. Not the best in some games, but probably one of the preferred ways to play this. Even the developer said he wanted to put it on a Vita or something. So maybe when I get better at this game, I'll play some more. I want to mess with Billy and Jimmy as well. I just chose Jeff at the start because he has a full moveset video out, and I kind of getting a little better at learning how to use his moves. One of the most difficult things is learning when you can cancel out of the combos, because the combos are really long animations and you're not invincible at all. The only iframes you get is when you use one of the designated cancels, but sometimes they won't come out at certain periods. Like if an enemy gets launched up in the air and you try to do the grab, then you're just going to miss the animation and you're going to get hit for it. You kind of have to learn the right times to cancel. Like you have a front throw, a back throw, and a kick and a tatsu, and you can use those to kind of give yourself iframes. So it's not very different from most other beat 'em ups. I'd say the really good beat 'em ups are the ones where you can use invincibility if you use it wisely, like in Fight and Rage with the throws and stuff. You can use it wisely to crowd control and avoid damage. You can do that here, but it's not in the typical Capcom way. You really have to get used to getting those combos off when you can, and then using the throws or the other iframe follow-ups to kind of keep yourself safe. It's definitely going to take some getting used to for me, but I will be following this game as it progresses. I believe he said that this may be the last demo until, I guess, the full release, and I guess he's going to give the demo out to people who donate. The guy who's doing the pixel art for this, the new sprites, like the Bobo sprite, Lynda is going to be the next character. He charges like almost $3,000. Obviously, he's trying to make money. I don't know. I don't know what his career path is right now or how much money he makes, but he does a really good job. The sprite actually looks pretty authentic because it's made by the same guy as the old ones. So if it does get to that point where it's exclusive, I'll definitely pay for this. It's gonna be a lot of a custom. It's gonna take me a long time to get accustomed to it because I didn't play Double Dragon as much when I was younger as the other beat 'em ups. But I think it's worth getting good at. Anyway, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace. Oh, and the link is going to be in the description as well.